Welcome back. If you're the kind of person who loves seeing how all the crazy, moving pieces of our world actually fit together, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today's explainer is all about a massive global weather phenomenon. We're going to unpack how ocean temperatures literally halfway across the planet connect directly to your daily life. We're looking at the ripple effect of what happens when the Pacific Ocean starts acting up. So let's just dive right in with a question that honestly might hit a little close to home for some of us. Why might your favorite chocolate bar cost more next year? I know, it sounds like a pure economics question, right? But the answer actually lies thousands of miles away, smack in the middle of the ocean. The culprit is this profound shift in global weather patterns, and it's something that's unfolding right now, literally as we speak. To really wrap our heads around this connection, here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll start with the Pacific Ocean radiator, move into Godzilla, a historic threat, then look at global weather chaos unfolds, follow that up with the cost of cocoa, and finally wrap up with the humanitarian ripple effect. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the Pacific Ocean radiator. So, El Niño. What is it? Basically, it's a natural climate pattern where the tropical Pacific Ocean warms up way, way above its normal levels. I want you to think of it like a giant radiator. That analogy just perfectly captures the atmospheric thermodynamics at play here. Imagine you have a massive space heater sitting in the corner of your room. When you crank it up, it doesn't just heat the water inside it, right? It pushes all that immense heat out directly into the air around it, bringing up the temperature of the entire room. That's exactly what's happening globally. It's quite literally turning up the thermostat for the whole planet. Now, context is absolutely everything here. You've probably heard of La Nina, right? That's the cooler than average opposite phase. And what's totally wild is that we were just in that cooler phase last winter. So we're experiencing this rapid, almost whiplash-inducing transition. The tropical Pacific is warming up so incredibly fast right now that the latest data shows we're already blowing past the threshold for El Niño to officially begin. The sheer suddenness of this shift, yeah, that's exactly why forecasters are paying such close attention. Which brings us to section 2, Godzilla, a historic threat. Look, these aren't just clickbaity, hyperbolic internet headlines. Words like super, mega, or even Godzilla El Niño. These are the actual literal terms being tossed around by professional meteorological forecasters right now. Models from the US, Australia, Europe, they are all pointing in the same terrifyingly consistent direction. US forecasters are actually giving a 2 in 3 chance that this becomes strong or very strong by late autumn or early winter. And the European models, about half of them show it could easily be one of the strongest on record. So yeah, this is definitely not your average seasonal shift. So what does a Godzilla event actually look like historically? Well, let's track the data. To find very strong El Niño events in modern history, you have to go back to 1997 and 2015. During those years, temperatures in the region were 2.4 degrees above average. Now, the strongest ever recorded was way back in 1877, hitting 2.7 degrees above average, though admittedly, we had far fewer scientific observations back then. But think about the current forecasts. We could see average temperatures 2.5 to 3 degrees warmer than usual in the coming months. That is massive. We're staring down the barrel of a weather event that could absolutely shatter modern records. Okay, moving on to section 3, global weather chaos unfolds. The sheer extreme contrast of the weather we're about to see depends entirely on where you happen to live. No two El Niños are exactly the same, but the Pacific Rim pretty much always takes a direct hit. Just think about this juxtaposition. Northern Peru and southern Ecuador, they are bracing for devastating, overflowing floods. Meanwhile, just across the water or a little bit further north, Australia, Indonesia, and Central America get the exact opposite effect. We're talking a severe lack of rainfall, leading to intense drought and massive wildfire risks. It's crazy to think that the same ocean radiator causes an absolute deluge in one country and turns another into a literal tinderbox. And the chaos definitely doesn't stop at the Pacific. It reaches its fingers all over the globe.
We're looking at elevated flooding risks stretching all the way from East Africa up to Central Asia and across to the southern US. And here's an interesting quirk. El Niño actually tends to suppress Atlantic tropical storms. Now, that sounds like a silver lining, right? Fewer hurricanes. But for Central America, fewer storms mean critically less rainfall, which just accelerates those drought conditions we were just talking about. Oh, and if you're in the UK, the Met Office warns this could actually increase the risk of a much colder winter. It's just a completely interconnected, highly unpredictable web of extremes.
Let's look at how this impacts your wallet in Section 4, the cost of cocoa. Remember my question at the very beginning of this explainer about the chocolate? Well, here is your answer, 15%. That is the massive price spike chocolate saw after the last major El Niño event. Why? Simply because the extreme dry weather caused by those shifting ocean currents severely damaged the cocoa harvests in Ghana and the Ivory Coast. It's wild to think about, but a warm patch of water in the Pacific Ocean literally dictated the price of a candy bar at your local grocery store.
But here's the really crucial point. This economic impact goes way, way beyond cocoa. Our entire global agricultural system is under threat here, and we're already seeing the impacts right now, today. Forest fires in Indonesia have sparked earlier than usual this year, which directly threatens their local agriculture. Over in the Middle East, they're facing heightened pressure on their food production too. And when you add in the currently elevated price of fertilizer, we are looking at a serious recipe for significantly reduced global food supplies. And, you guessed it, much higher grocery prices across the board in the coming months. Which leads us to our final part, Section 5, the humanitarian ripple effect. I really want this number to sink in for a second. 60 million. According to the UN, that is the staggering number of people whose food security was directly affected by the droughts and floods during the last strong El Niño just a decade ago. We are talking about devastating droughts in places like Ethiopia and the Caribbean. When scientists discuss these tiny fractions of a degree in ocean temperatures, this is what it actually translates to on land. Tens of millions of real people struggling to find their next meal. But hey, there is some good news here. The international community knows this history, and they are not sitting this one out. The conversations are already happening. UN agencies, international NGOs, and interagency committees, they're actively mobilizing as we speak. They're looking at the exact same forecast we just reviewed, and they're putting real plans in place to mitigate these major humanitarian impacts before the worst of the Godzilla event even arrives. Because at the end of the day, preparation is absolutely our best defense against the coming climate chaos. Which leaves us with this final kind of heavy thought. The last El Niño helped make 2024 a record-breaking year for global heat. And now, with an even stronger event looming right on the horizon, scientists are actively warning that 2027 could easily become the warmest year on human record. We've traced the ripples today, right? From a warming ocean to flooded cities to rising food prices down to millions facing hunger. The radiator is officially turned on, and it is running hot. So the only question left for us is, are we truly ready for the ripple effect? Thanks so much for hanging out and unpacking this incredibly fascinating and critical topic with me today. Stay curious, keep learning, and I will catch you in the next explainer.